Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule today to join us for our first annual Heroes of Oceanside and Camp Pendleton event. My name is Scott Ashton. I'm the CEO of the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce. While our initial intention was for us to all be having dinner together to celebrate our heroes, we're grateful to have the technology that allows us to have a virtual celebration while we await the opportunity to come together in person again, and hopefully that will be sooner than later. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items. I'll ask that all of our panelists keep their microphones muted until it's your opportunity to speak. Once each panelist has completed their speaking roles for the event, I'm going to move you from the role of panelist to attendee, so you can just sit back and enjoy the remainder of the event. We are recording today's webinar, and it will be available on the Chamber's YouTube channel starting next week. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our sponsors for today's event. You'll be hearing from our presenting sponsor in just a moment. That's Tri-City Medical Center. Our gold sponsors for today are Front Wave Credit Union, Genentech, and Chase Bank. Our silver sponsors are Scripps Health, Cal State University San Marcos, Miracosta College, Sterling Development, GK Asset Management LLC, and San Diego Gas and Electric. At this time, I'd like to introduce Aaron Bizak, the Chief External Affairs Officer at Tri-City Medical Center, to say a few words as our presenting sponsor. Aaron?
Tri-City Medical Center has been a proud partner of the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce for many years and is honored to have sponsored the Heroes event since its inception back in 2016. Tri-City has been serving the coastal North County community for nearly 60 years, and we're proud to meet the healthcare needs of the people of our district every day. Our mission is to advance the health and wellness of the community we serve. In order to achieve our mission, we see, hear, and listen to our frontline health workers, employees, medical staff, and all community stakeholders in order to understand and meet our community's needs. This mission remains absolutely critical during this truly unprecedented time. As you have all experienced, the COVID-19 pandemic has placed tremendous challenges on the community. Our medical center is on the front lines of the effort to protect and save lives. Our team has rallied together to ensure that Tri-City Medical Center provides the highest quality of care for everyone seeking assistance, whether they have COVID-19 or not. And we couldn't do it without the support of the local business community, which has really stepped up and showered our frontline staff members and our organization with assistance, ranging from access to equipment, to meals for our staff, and even homemade masks. We're so grateful for this outpouring of support and thank everyone for their generosity. During the pandemic, we also want to assure you that it is perfectly safe and necessary to seek health care from our hospital and your primary care physician. Our medical center's emergency department is safe for everyone and prepared to handle all kinds of emergencies. Plenty of things are on hold right now with this pandemic. Your health shouldn't be one of them. Ignoring your health is dangerous, so please don't wait to seek help. On a similar subject, many of you know that Tri-City Medical Center is home to one of the top heart and stroke treatment programs anywhere. As a matter of fact, the American Heart Association recently awarded Tri-City 5 gold awards for our heart and stroke programs. We really are the gold standard when it comes to heart and stroke care, so please do not put care off. Speaking of not waiting for care, one group of patients really don't wait, and that's babies. Babies continue to be delivered every day at our medical centers. We are reminded every time the lullaby chime plays overhead. In fact, it plays more than 5 times a day, every day. Our maternity program was actually just recognized with the 2019 Maternity Honor Roll Award for their excellent care. As the pandemic continues, many people know that visitation in the medical center is very limited. That is why we have deployed a system of iPads that allows patients and family members to visit virtually. This is true even for our smallest and most vulnerable patients in the neonatal intensive care unit, or NICU. As a matter of fact, we are the first hospital in the region to offer the NICView camera, which allows parents to view their infants from anywhere in the world by computer or mobile device. These are just some of the innovations and quality programs available at our hospital. We remain committed to our mission to advance the health and wellness of the community we serve, whether that mission is carried out at the medical center and our clinics or in the community through our many partnerships. Again, it's our pleasure to sponsor and to support the Heroes Award event. There's so many amazing community partners, from the military to the police and fire department, their educational institutions that work with us day in and day out, and we're so proud to be here to honor them. So thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and welcome to the Heroes of Oceanside virtual award ceremony.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you for everything Tri-City does for our community. It's now my pleasure to introduce Oceanside Mayor Peter Weiss, who is joining us from the beach at Lifeguard Tower number 2. Welcome, Peter.
Hi, thank you for having me. And I first want to thank the Chamber for hosting this event in some very unique circumstances that we're facing today. So thank you very much to the Chamber and all the sponsors who are putting this on. But I do need to recognize and thank all those that are out there on the front lines, keeping us safe and providing us protection. And not just the recipients of today's award ceremony, but all of those people that are out there. And it's interesting because the average person doesn't recognize the sacrifice that all of those people on the front lines make for us day in and day out until they're actually in need of those services. So again, on behalf of the entire City Council, I want to recognize and congratulate the recipients today, but also recognize and thank all of you that are out there day to day on the front lines, sacrificing and putting yourselves at risk so that we can stay safe and protected. So thank you very much and congratulations to all of those recipients today.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. The Heroes event serves as an opportunity for us to recognize representatives from Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton, the Oceanside Police Department, Oceanside Fire Department, our lifeguards, our local healthcare workers, and educators from the Oceanside Unified School District, all for their outstanding contributions to the well-being and advancement of the city of Oceanside. So at this time, we're going to start with our Oceanside Police Department awards, and these awards are sponsored by Front Wave Credit Union, and I'd like to invite Bill Boerner, CEO of Front Wave, to share a few words.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming here today. I just wanted to say how honored Front Wave Credit Union is to sponsor the Oceanside Police Department Awards for 2020. And I believe we're joined by all of Oceanside citizens in our expression of gratitude for the commitment and tremendous work of the Oceanside Police Department to keep this great community safe. It is indeed a comfort to know that they are there to serve and protect. Our heartfelt congratulations and thank you to those well-deserved honorees today.
Thank you, Bill, and we certainly appreciate your support of today's event. It's now my pleasure to introduce Captain Sean Marchand of the Oceanside Police Department to share a little information about the OPD awardees.
Good afternoon, Scott. First of all, I just want to thank the Chamber for hosting this event to recognize the great work that our folks are doing every day. As you can see, they're with me, but we're practicing safe social distancing. In spite of what the camera appears to be, we're in excess of 6 feet, so we're okay. So I was fortunate enough to find a room large enough to recognize them personally while doing this in a remote setting. The first person I want to recognize is our Detective Larry Weber. Whoops, I have it out of order. No, I'm back to order. Okay, thank you. Perfect. This is Detective Larry Weber. I've known Larry for many years. He went over to detectives 2 or 3 years ago, thereabouts. He's established himself as a go-to player in the investigations division, conducting surveillances, writing after-hours search warrants, planning short buy busts of property, making key arrests. He's always counted on by his peers and his supervisors to go ahead and commit to getting that job done. Larry has a wealth of knowledge. He, as far as players and who is worth knowing in the criminal element. Matter of fact, last year we have these be on the lookout bulletins that are published throughout the department. We had 94 last year, and of those 94, 23 of which Larry himself identified the suspects in those cases. So that's a very impressive number and just speaks to his commitment to the organization. In 2019, he completed 97 property crime and financial crime cases, 40 of which were by arrest, which is a pretty significant percentage of those case closures. One of the cases he was involved in was a residential burglary, a series of them, in one of which the suspects took several firearms. Our patrol folks ended up taking that person into custody and finding one of the firearms, but Larry came in and conducted his investigation on the back end, identified another suspect in that, was able to take them into custody as well. So that follow-up is very invaluable in order to just connect the dots and get everybody that's responsible for a crime accountable for it. The biggest example he had was there was a statewide investigation with more than 35 burglaries throughout the state of optometry businesses where they were stealing glasses, with 26 having occurred in the San Diego region, several of which in the city of Oceanside, which is how we became connected with it. The suspects had gotten away with over $3 million worth of merchandise, ranging from high-end purses to designer eyeglasses. He took the responsibility of coordinating law enforcement responses statewide, and he was the liaison with the corporate business community asset protection investigators. He quickly identified multiple suspects from the LA area and were involved in burglaries stretching from San Francisco Bay Area to Chula Vista. He coordinated with the DA's office and several law enforcement agencies in the LA area to serve multiple search warrants and conduct probation searches, recovering approximately $26,000 worth of high-end glasses and $50,000 in cash, with several high-end purses recovered and evidence linking the suspects to the crimes. So it's that tenacity and that drive that we're able to recognize Larry for. And like I said, he's just a really good detective and just a good all-around person. And we're very thankful for being able to recognize him at this event. The second person I want to recognize is truly one of the heroes here, in spite of what Larry may think. This Christy Helms, she's one of our crime analysts within the police department. Our crime analysis unit is very critical in identifying crime trends and suspects. And over the years, it's evolved significantly. And Christy's been a member of that work group for a long, long time. So historically, she's been doing great work for a long time. So we're real thankful for being able to coordinate with her or recognize her. So last year, we were experiencing some significant difficulties with crimes in the transient community. And there was a lot of association with Prop 47 and AB 109 folks, people who are subject to early release from prison and jail. Partnering with the San Diego DA's office, Christy was instrumental in garnering all the information we needed to formulate who should be on this chronic criminal offender list, and formulating a strategy with the district attorney's office to hold folks accountable and to slow down that cycle we were seeing where people would get arrested and released almost immediately. People are now able to stay in custody a longer time and reduce the amount of crime that a single suspect can commit based on their time in custody and the fact that they're being held accountable in a substantial way. As of January of this year, there have been over 68 arrests classified in that program. At this point, we're well over 100. She spearheaded the acquisition of new technology investigations tools that allow us to look at databases and garner information we wouldn't otherwise be able to do. She is instrumental in tracking trends and patterns related to sex offenders for the Family Protection Unit, and has helped with the identification of numerous suspects and countless arrests over the many years she's worked for us. In a true testament of her diversity of skills, she also assists the Crimes of Violence Unit whenever duty calls. So she's relied upon if we have a crime of violence, a homicide, or a really significant assault. She'll come in and she'll help put our intelligence into a very digestible form so that we can understand it better and utilize it better in an investigation. She's also recognized throughout the regions and sits on the San Diego Crime and Intelligence Analysts Association board. And through this, she's been able to share her knowledge countywide. So she's made an impact not only within the organization, but within the county. And it's those relationships that she forms that leads to the effectiveness of our organization. And I'm very, very happy to be able to recognize Christy in this in this event.
All right, thank you, Captain Marchand, and congratulations again to Larry and Christy. Thank you for your amazing service to our community. It's now my pleasure to introduce our education awards. These awards are sponsored by Chase Bank, and I would like to invite Summer Jameson from Chase to say a few words.
Thank you all for having me, and congratulations to both of you. Quite the accomplishment. I just wanted to say on behalf of JP Morgan and myself, as a mom who lives in the community and also works in the community, thank you all for your service. And we are so proud to be able to help with these awards today. And I just wanted to say thank you for your service, whether it be on the front lines or in our schools. And I'm so proud of each and every one of you. And thank you for allowing me to attend today.
Thank you, Summer, and thank you, Chase Bank, for sponsoring our education award. At this point, we have a special guest with us this afternoon. It's our Assemblymember Tasha Boerner Horvath, who's going to take a few minutes to share some thoughts on education.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here today. I just ran out of a committee hearing, so good timing. I want to thank the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce and our entire community for really recognizing the outstanding work of our educators and school staff. We know this has been a really difficult year and a very tough transition, and it's so inspiring to see how our schools have really stepped up, especially OUSD. You know, they've hosted online workshop series to best support parents during this time. They really worked hard to make sure every kid got connected in order to do distance learning. They've been actively seeking out how are they inclusive and going back to school, and also in order to address the needs for our food insecure community, OUSD acted quickly to provide meals. So we always say it takes a village to raise our children, and really all of our educators are that village, and it's our community that really lifts them up today. And it's an honor to be with you and recognize their amazing accomplishments. So. With that, it's a pleasure to introduce Dr. Andy Norman, who's the Director of Human Resources for OUSD, who will introduce our Education Award nominees. Thank you very much for letting me be here and be a part of this wonderful opportunity to recognize the achievements in Oceanside.
Thank you, Assemblymember.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm one of two directors with our school district. I oversee the certificated side, but I also have a great teammate, Jolie Napier-Vea. She oversees our classified. Today, I'm going to be speaking to both certificated and classified valuable employees, no matter what side you're on, and we all work together as a team. I'm going to start off with Jennifer Serta. She is our English language arts teacher that we're celebrating today from El Camino High School. Ms. Serta is an exceptional English language arts teacher at El Camino High School. Her classroom is a hub on the El Camino campus, and students seek her out because they feel safe and seen in her room. Ms. Serta is a dedicated professional who thinks deeply about every lesson she facilitates for her students. She is just as committed to the mental health of her students as she is to their learning experience, and she has long been a fierce advocate for struggling youth. Ms. Serta's approach to her profession adheres to the following three guidelines: humans first, foster empathy, and literacy development. Our next teacher that we're going to be celebrating is Ms. Suzanne Famia. She is an ARC teacher with Surfside Academy. Ms. Famia is an outstanding teacher who believes every student has the ability to learn, achieve academic success, and graduate. She brings enthusiasm to the profession each day with her unique and dynamic personality. Ms. Famia is the first to speak up, volunteer, and offer a solution or positive feedback when the opportunity arises. She is adaptable, flexible, and is always willing to do whatever she can to assist her colleagues and students. Her purpose here in OUSD is to give the gift of knowledge, power, and confidence back to the students we serve. She encourages her students by saying, "Yes, you can, because I will meet you where you're at." And that's Suzanne. Our next educator is Cindy Donaldson. She is a health clerk at Cesar Chavez Middle School. Ms. Donaldson is passionate about her job as a health clerk and is always calm and professional. She works at a high degree of integrity and authenticity. She treats everyone with dignity and empathy. She consistently goes above and beyond and exudes positivity while doing her job. She creates a safe space for students of diverse backgrounds and cares for their physical and emotional needs. Ms. Donaldson has created such valuable relationships that former students will frequently come back to visit her. Thank you, Cindy. And last but not least, we have Amy O'Neill, health clerk at North Terrace School. Ms. O'Neill has excellent problem solving and communication skills and is able to seamlessly maintain the records for more than 900 students at North Terrace. She has wonderful relationships with the staff and is approachable and speaks positively with everyone she encounters. She provides snacks, clothing, and love to the students at the school. She has helped organize several fundraisers and drives for the school, including collecting for funds for new running track and for organizing a shoe and clothing drive for those families in need. Ms. O'Neill is dedicated to the families and works to connect with them with the needed resources and will go out of her way and go to the food pantry for them. Ms. O'Neill she has a humongous heart. When a student at the school was going to be placed back in foster care, Ms. O'Neill and her family stepped in and eventually adopted the child into their family. And those are outstanding educators. Thank you so much for letting us highlight them.
Thank you, Dr. Norman, and thank you, Assemblymember Tasha Boerner Horvath. And again, congratulations to Jennifer, Suzanne, Cindy, and Amy. We appreciate all that you do for our community. It's now my pleasure to move on to recognizing our Healthcare Heroes Awards. These awards are sponsored by Tri-City Medical Center, and we have 4 different departments that will be recognized this afternoon. So to get started, I'd like to invite Scott Livingston, the Chief Operating Officer from Tri-City Medical Center, to share a few words about the Environmental Services Department and the Laboratory Department.
Hi, first off, thanks very much for this opportunity. I think it's a great honor that we can identify folks throughout the community, not just in the hospital, but in healthcare, the military, and the police as well. So I'm going to talk very briefly about our Environmental Services, or EVS department. It's one of the unsung heroes of any medical center. It's their responsibility to work with the hospital staff to keep patients and staff members healthy with proper cleaning and disinfecting procedures of all the equipment and the facilities throughout the hospital. They're often referred to as the first line of defense in infection control, and our EVS department is an integral part to our overall infection prevention measures. Despite the gravity of what they do every day, cleaning the dirtiest of the dirty in the hospital, these folks identify it as taking care of these patients like they're their own family members. While the COVID pandemic has changed the manner in which we approach many of our tasks in our day-to-day operations, the EVS department has approached the COVID pandemic, in their words, like it's any other day. They've always focused on the highest standard of cleanliness and infection control, and while our facility is an aged facility, as Aaron said, we've been here for nearly 60 years, they do a great job of keeping it clean. They're also very essential in ensuring patient flow, that it continues in an effective and efficient manner throughout the medical center. When one patient is discharged from the hospital, the EVS is responsible for cleaning that room to ensure that the next patient coming in, it has a clean and safe room to move into. Despite all of the challenges with the COVID-19 environment and pandemic, EVS routine turnaround time for non-COVID patient rooms continues to be about 20 to 25 minutes. Turnaround time for a COVID positive patient room is increased to about 45 minutes, but that has to take into account for the added protection that they need to provide for themselves and also to leave the room empty for a bit. So it's safe to go in, turn it over, and make sure that the next patient coming in is in a safe environment. So they're following all the guidelines from for Centers for Disease Control. This allows our staff to continue to move patients through the hospital and reduce wait times in our emergency department. Recently, we asked them what they thought about their work, and they shared a common sentiment that they are proud to continue serving our community by providing a clean and safe environment for each patient and for our hospital staff. So I'd like to congratulate the Medical Center's Environmental Services Department for their worthy recognition as one of the Oceanside Chamber's heroes. Next is our laboratory department. Everybody knows laboratory you test everything and it goes through the laboratory. So our laboratory has risen to the call during the COVID pandemic. Already a hive of activity within the medical center conducting tests and providing laboratory results that help inform more than 70% of all of the clinical decisions. Our laboratory has added new test menus and new tracking methods for the new clinical tests required for coronavirus detection, as well as developing new means of specimen processing and inventory control, all of which never existed before coronavirus. Our laboratory staff is a key link between results getting to the physicians and our nursing staff in a timely fashion. While hospitals in different areas of the country and in California are dealing with up to 5 to 10 day turnaround times for COVID results, our lab has collaborated with area laboratory facilities that help keep our turnaround times 24 to 36 hours. So we're able to identify those patients in a much quicker fashion than some of the other hospitals in the state and throughout the country. While the primary focus of healthcare and the community as a whole right now has been on the COVID testing menus and platforms, our laboratory professionals continue to provide timely, efficient, and accurate laboratory services that are second to none to meet all of our patients' clinical needs. So I'd like to thank our laboratory department for going above and beyond the call of duty, and congratulations, which is well deserved as a hero of the Oceanside Chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, and congratulations again to the hardworking people in the Environmental Services Department and the Laboratory Department. I'd like to now introduce Candace Paris, the Chief Patient Care Services Officer at Tri-City Medical Center, to share some words about the nursing department. Candace, you're muted. We will circle back to that, and we'll go to the Supply Chain Department Award and ask Aaron Bizak, Chief External Affairs Officer, to say a few words.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Supply chain is an entire system of producing and delivering a product or service from the very beginning stage of sourcing the raw materials to the final delivery of the product or service to end users. In a hospital, the supply chain department is part of our critical infrastructure. During a pandemic, their importance becomes even more pronounced. From even before the official announcement of the pandemic, the entire supply chain department at Tri-City has been working nonstop to identify those products and equipment that are essential to protecting the health and safety of our frontline staff members and saving the lives of our patients. At Tri-City, the supply chain department has gone above and beyond the call of duty. Here are just some of their recent achievements. They designed and built patient upper body covers to protect hospital staff from patient coughs while performing intubation and extubation procedures. Supply chain contracted with the company to reprocess scarce N95 respirator masks free of charge, including shipping in both directions. They worked with several non-medical manufacturers to design and produce PPE face shields and even donate them to the Tri-City Hospital Foundation at no cost, including companies like Solitube, Ford Motor Company, and local colleges. They kept Tri-City Healthcare District staff safe by sourcing creative alternatives to PPE supplies that were unavailable due to the worldwide demand. They inventory and report critical PPE supplies daily, including weekends, to Healthcare District leadership and the County of San Diego. Supply chain quickly established a cache of scarce supplies and equipment, purchased at the lowest possible cost to keep Healthcare District staff equipped and protected to care for all patients during the entire pandemic. They also established a plan and acquired resources to allow Tri-City Medical Center to increase our bed capacity by at least 50 if required to meet the needs of a potential surge in patients. And finally, they have inspected, validated, inventoried, and warehoused thousands of donated supplies and equipment to ensure that they were safe for patient and staff use. On a professional note, I just have to tell you that Throughout the pandemic, I've had the opportunity to work more closely with the entire supply chain team, and I really can't say enough about how talented and committed they are to our patients, our staff, and our community. And it's for all these reasons and so many more that we really don't have time to enumerate that Tri-City Medical Center's Supply Chain Department is deserving of this Heroes Award.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you for bringing attention to such an important element of Tri-City Medical Center. At this point, I'd like to call on Candace Paris, the Chief Patient Care Services Officer, to tell us about the nursing department.
Hi, and good afternoon. Sorry, I had a technical glitch there. Nursing is consistently recognized in Gallup polling as one of the most trusted professions. They have a reputation for being honest and caring. They serve as both caregivers and educators for those in need, and additionally, over time, and certainly most recently, have been in the forefront of tackling public health challenges. The entire nursing staff at Tri-City has really stepped up and worked to provide a safe environment for those patients and fellow staff members during the COVID-19 pandemic. Nurses are on the front lines in nearly every corner of the medical center, ranging from the emergency department to intensive care, telemetry, medical surgical units, education, infection control, and among other departments. Since the onset of the pandemic, Tri-City Medical Center's nurses have screened 100% of patients at all entrances for signs and symptoms of COVID. They've set up a screening process in the emergency department for all patients seeking care and creating a separate screening area for patients with COVID-19 symptoms, as well as an isolation area within the emergency department for caring for and treating potential COVID patients. Simultaneously, they have created the countless non-COVID patients that come to the department suffering with asthma attacks, heart attacks, strokes, cancer, surgery, and many other ailments. If admission is needed, our nursing staff on a designated unit have set up an isolation unit to treat only COVID patients, keeping staff and patients separated and safe. Our nurses provide frontline care for all of our patients around the clock and deserve the community's and our highest respect for the work they do to treat the sick and the injured. It is for this reason I am pleased to recognize the work the Tri-City Medical Center Nursing Department for the Heroes Award. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us, Candace, and congratulations again to all the hardworking people at the nursing department and for all Tri-City Medical Center. Thank you for all that you do. Our military awards this afternoon are sponsored by Front Wave Credit Union. So I'd like to invite Bill Boerner from Front Wave to once again say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Front Wave Credit Union is incredibly proud to sponsor the military awards for 2020. Originally formed in 1952 as Camp Pendleton Federal Credit Union, our roots and service to the military installations and the communities that support them runs incredibly deep. As a retired Marine Sergeant Major, I know the sacrifices of military life, and I have an incredible appreciation for the unwavering commitment to our military personnel in defense of this great nation. Thank you for your service. Our heartfelt congratulations to our heroes today.
Thank you, Bill. And thank you to Front Wave Credit Union once again for sponsoring our awards. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Colonel Dan Whitley, who will be sharing about our Marines and sailors that we're recognizing today. Colonel?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. First, thanks for having me here today. I think I'm the newest member of the group. I just assumed command about a week and a half ago. But I spent about 11 years of my career at Camp Pendleton, so this is like coming home to me. Up front, thanks to the Chamber, the members, and the sponsors for the recognition you give to our service members here on Camp Pendleton. Fortunately, last week, Christy was able to come out here and actually present the awards to the awardees. They are not here with me today, but I'll give you kind of a brief description of each one of them. So our first awardee is Lance Corporal Delicia Martinez-Zambert. She's one of our admin clerks that works in the IPAC, our Installation Personnel Administration Center. She works in the legal section. She basically handles records of legal Marines coming and going from the command, inbound and outbound, managing those records and all the systems that we maintain here. She was recognized recently for as being our Marine of the Quarter for third quarter fiscal year 20. And she's honored to have the award presented on behalf of the Chamber here. Our next awardee, Corporal Antoni Plasica. He's been in the Marine Corps since April 2018. He hails from San Antonio, Texas. He's our non-commissioned officer in charge of the promotion section in the IPAC and the personnel administration section. He's also a member of our color guard, performing ceremonies across both not only camp here, but out in the local community as well with the color guard. And he's one of our high intensity tactical training instructors, so one of our fitness instructors across the camp here. And he was most recently recognized as our non-commissioned officer of the quarter for third year, fiscal year 2020. Our third awardee on the Navy side for our sailors, Hospital Corpsman Third Class, or HM3, Mikaye Foster. She's been in the Navy since July 2015. She hails from Honolulu, Hawaii. Most recently in support of 1st Medical Battalion and 1st Marine Logistics Group, where we get most of our corpsmen here from. She supported Customs and Border Patrol on the border, doing border security missions with medical support. And she also did a deployment with Special Marine Air Ground Task Force Crisis Response CENTCOM mission over in the Middle East. And she was also recognized by the Navy as being the Blue Jacket of the Year for fiscal year 2019 for Medical Battalion. Our last awardee, Hospital Corpsman Third Class, HM3 Taylor Dagg. He hails from Portland, Oregon. He's been in the Navy since April 2012. He's been most recently supporting infantry units, the last one being Battalion Landing Team 1-4, deployment to the Western Pacific. And he's one of the senior line corpsmen in the infantry company, basically providing medical and basic life-saving skills training to the Marines and other corpsmen within the company and the battalion. So on behalf of all of our Marines and sailors here at Camp Pendleton, I want to thank you for your recognition and support to our service members. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Colonel. We appreciate you being able to join us. And again, congratulations to all of our service members. Thank you for your service. Next, we have our Oceanside Fire Department Awards. And I'd like to introduce our Fire Chief, Rick Robinson, to present those awards.
Good afternoon, Scott. Thank you. And I want to thank your staff and especially Christy for staying on top of us and making sure all those recommendations into her. But all the members of the Chamber of Commerce for finding a way to continue to support and recognize our local heroes. We've already seen and heard, we've recognized our partners in law enforcement, education, healthcare, and our military. And it's now my honor to recognize the heroes from the Oceanside Fire Department, which include our city lifeguards. And what makes these chamber awards a little bit different is that you come to us and ask us to recommend and give our recommendation for our heroes. So to do that, I asked our awards board to give it consideration. And our lifeguards also gave it some consideration as to who they wanted to nominate. And it didn't surprise me at all, the names that came up when they came back to me, because those who do the emergency work and respond to the emergency calls rarely think of themselves as heroes. Rather, they identified those who do the special things that make their job, the frontline folks' job, safer, easier, faster, and less stressful. And the members of the organization, I'm going to tell you about meet those tests. So I'll tell you a little about each of them. And I think first up, we have Fire Captain Scott Bowers. And he's not with us today. I'm not even sure he knows he's been recognized. He's off on vacation, but as soon as he returns, we'll make sure we get this to him. Scott joined the Oceanside Fire Department as an EMT back in 1996 and worked up through the ranks as a paramedic engineer and became a captain here in 2015. And while Scott's responded to many, many calls and has lots of stories we could share, it wasn't those things that his peers nominated him for. Rather, it was for an extra project. And of note, it was the writing of a $100,000 grant that allowed our agency to update our nozzle inventory and Nozzles are really the first line tool of a firefighter. So that was very, very important, a big project for us. Scott also is overseeing the outfitting of every engine with support equipment for deployment to wildland fires. This is particularly important because with the COVID protocols now, it's even more important that we send our folks out able to take care of themselves. And so that includes the tents, sleeping bags, MREs, and many, many other pieces of equipment that they need. Our firefighters tell me that when they are deployed, they're able to get the rest and rehab they need to do that most arduous work, and that's due to Scott's efforts. And so our next is Beverly Shapiro. Yes, there she is. And again, she was nominated by our awards board, and Bev started her career with the city in 1989. And at first, she started working for the Oceanside Police Department. It took her 10 years to finally realize which department was, shall I say, the best, and came over and joined the fire department as an office specialist too. Bev was promoted to accounting specialist and subsequently to accounting specialist 2 in 2001. And she's our hero to everybody here in the fire department because she ensures our pay records are correct and submitted on time. And basically that means we get paid. Not an easy task though, due to the often complicated schedules of firefighters and the seasonal influx of lifeguards, which almost doubles the workload in the summer months. Bev also ensures that our bills are paid, our vendors are obtained, and our FEMA reimbursements are properly tracked. So she is a hero indeed, and this award's even more worthy, given that after 31 years of service with the city, 21 with the Oceanside Fire Department, Beverly Shapiro has announced her retirement this October. And so she's our hero, and this recognition is well-deserved and long in coming. And finally, I'm going to talk to you about the nominee put forth by our lifeguard division, and that is Lynn Seablum. There she is. And again, you would think that our lifeguards could put up any number of their peers who risk their lives doing heroic rescues on the beaches, harbors, jetties, with the things that we've heard about. But they too pick someone who they recognize has been working around the clock ever since COVID-19 struck the city. And that is Lynn, who manages our EMS division every day. She's a nurse educator, assistant training officer, and she plays many roles and takes on many tasks. But when COVID-19 came, probably one of the most important roles that's in the city right now is that of our designated infection control officer. And in this role, Lynn serves every member of the city by evaluating, monitoring, and reporting potential COVID-19 exposures. 24/7, Lynn makes herself available to guide us through the often confusing rules and testing processes. Lynn also keeps our medical protocols up to date. She is the primary EMS trainer for firefighter paramedics, EMTs, and our lifeguards. As the lifeguards said on their nomination memo, I'm going to quote this: Lynn is an integral part of this department and city and should be commended for going above and beyond the call of duty. So with that, I congratulate all of those fire department employees. They're well deserved. And again, I just say thank you for making this event happen.
Thank you, Chief, and thanks for taking time out of your afternoon to be here with us. And just a huge congratulations and thank you to Scott, Bev, and Lynn for your service to Oceanside. So we appreciate all you do. When I first looked at this agenda, I didn't see any way we could get this done in an hour, but you guys have been incredibly efficient, and we're just about to wrap up. But I do want to take a moment to thank our chamber staff, Christy Hawthorne and Tracy Chin, who are watching in the background, and you'll see on your screen Hannah Gilbert and Emerald Lowe. So just a huge thank you. A couple months ago, when I realized that it looked like this event could not happen in person, I asked them to just come together and put together something that could recognize our heroes. And you guys did an amazing job. So I'm very proud of the staff that we have here at the Chamber. And again, I just want to thank everyone for taking time to join us this afternoon. For all of our, congratulations to all of our awardees. Thank you to our panelists. And thank you to all of you that are attending. And as I mentioned, this will be on our YouTube channel. So once we get it, please go to our YouTube channel and share it with friends and colleagues that you think would want to honor our heroes. And again, thank you to all of our sponsors and to everybody that made this event happen this afternoon. Everyone have a great afternoon, and thank you again.